My name is Steve May, and I graduated in 1981. To me, Jacksonville means success. It gave me all the tools I needed and the passion to drive forward and be a success in my career. I just felt empowered when I left there. And I'll never forget what JSU did for me. It was quite amazing. I've got a lot of passion for that place, and every time I go back home to the campus and ride around, and I get emotional, and it means a lot to me. It's not a school of status necessarily. You can come in there and build a great network of friends and be involved in what's going on in the campus, and you don't just feel like an outsider the whole time. You immediately get sucked into what's going on there, and you just feel like a big part of what's going on around you, socially, academically, and I just feel like everyone there is accepted and feels really good about their experience there. JSU has untold, untapped potential, and I want everyone in the country to know about JSU, and I want to know where it's located. It's not in Florida. From the academic side, I would have to say that walking in the Merrill building, and I get a little emotional, but seeing it now really hurts. It hurts because all of us got our education there. I mean, I got finance, I got all my management classes, my marketing classes, my computer science classes were there, and I've interviewed interns there. I've recruited on campus, and seeing all those wonderful alums and teachers and educators and all the students, it's just an amazing place. I love the Merrill building. Spent 6 semesters there, and it was the catalyst that got me going. I still remember Dr. Scroggins, Dr. Brown, Theron Montgomery when he was president there, and just really knowing all of the folks on the academic side. Just great education. On the social side, when I got to JSU, I had played college basketball for a few years in junior college, and I knew a lot of people at JSU, but I wanted to be connected to everybody that I didn't know, plus the ones that I did. So I pledged a fraternity. It was Kappa Sig, and that was the social catalyst for the rest of my time at JSU. I had a ball, and I have many wonderful memories, good and bad, but we had a ball. That's all I can say. That was back in the good glory days. I don't know that I would want my son or daughter to do some of the things that I did when I was there, but we had a blast, and a lot of the folks that I see today were fraternity brothers, either with KA, Kappa Sig, some of the other fraternities, sororities. I know a lot of folks there. So the Greek life at JSU is good. However, you can be very connected and not be in the Greek life. That's one of the other things I love about it, was you didn't necessarily have to be in the Greek fraternity or sorority. You could have a great time at JSU if you were just a student, if you wanted to be involved in sports or intramural sports, or if you wanted to be in the band and the ballerinas or a cheerleader or just anything. I mean, just being SGA. All of those were great conduits into getting to know people at JSU, even some of the other student organizations. There's just tons of opportunities. The good thing about JSU is that people are friendly and they accept you for who you are, and there's not a lot of airs put on, not a lot of cliquey stuff going on. Even in fraternities, they will accept you if you're not a fraternity. So I love that about JSU. It's just a very friendly place. I got a lot of education from some of the folks that I knew in class that knew things I didn't know, or had been exposed to things I had not been exposed to, or maybe had better mentoring than I had had. They were very uniquely qualified for things that you don't think about, the social attributes and the grooming and just how you look and how you carry yourself and how you communicate. All of those styles really helped me sharpen my skills, so that when I interviewed, my toolkit was full and I was able to compete with kids that had gone to Alabama and Auburn and other schools, UT. I felt like I competed very well in the interview and in the job world with those kind of people. So most of that stuff I learned at JSU. I was at Boeing Aircraft, and I was sitting at my desk, and a good friend of mine who was a recruiter, a corporate recruiter, called me out of the blue and just said, Steve, we got a wonderful opportunity. He's working for Jack Daniels in Lynchburg, Tennessee. They needed someone in supply chain management, and that's where my career had taken me outside of JSU. And supply chain was an amazing career, and used to get a lot of calls, but this one kind of resonated with me. I was wanting to come up here, but I told him no, I wasn't going to come up. And I said, my mom would kill me, first of all. I left and went to work for an alcohol brand. And secondly, that I just didn't feel like it was time to leave Boeing. So about 7 months later, one day I was in the office, and they had announced that they were going to close some plants and consolidate some plants, and that there was some opportunities there for some displacement of employees, especially in leadership roles like I was in. And I had a little bit of a tiff with my boss, and I got back on the phone and I called that recruiter back, and I said, I know you called me 7 months ago, and I doubt in a million years that job at Jack Daniels is still open, but I just thought I'd call and see. He said, I don't know, let me check. He called me back in about 15 minutes. He said they just decided not to hire the 7th guy that they had brought in from another state to interview for that job, and that I told him that I had a candidate that I felt like was perfect. He said, send me your resume, we'll put it together, and we'll see if we can't shoot it up there to the folks in Tennessee there at Jack Daniels, and just see if you're a candidate. So we put it together. I didn't even have a resume together at the time, so he helped me get it together. We sent it up here. They called back that evening and said, can you be here Saturday? This was a Tuesday. And they had been looking for somebody for a year. So I'm not bragging or anything. It was just that I happened to have the right skill set. I had exactly what they wanted. And so I came up here and interviewed with a panel of people. There was 12 people in the room. I interviewed for about 4 hours with different people. And at the end of the interview, they made me an offer. And I couldn't turn it down because it was awesome. So one of the most exciting things I ever did was leave Boeing and come to Jack Daniels. So I like to tell people I went from building rockets to making rocket fuel. JSU is a part of our life, and someone that's given you that opportunity as a catalyst for your life and your career that sets you on your way. I believe in giving back. A good friend of mine told me there's 3 phases to life. There's learning, earning, and returning. So we went to JSU for the learning part. Then there's the earning years, and at my age now it's time to be returning. And I believe that a person should give back to those who don't know what we know now, to try to be a mentor, to educate and share our wealth of knowledge now to those that are coming up through that rural area there where most of the students come from that may not know that this world is pretty vast. There's tons of opportunities. All you really need to do is plug in, get your education at JSU, and it'll serve you well. Got one last thing to say. Go Cox!